Okay, so I guess let's begin. During our introduction, people will keep joining in. So we should have a good audience by on 5 minutes. So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us for Get That Job. This session will be taken by Ruchika Rocque, a university recruiter at Microsoft. And during the course of this session, she will be sharing some placement preparation tips for university students and will review a handful of resumes live to give a glimpse into a recruiter's mindset when they are looking at candidates' resume for university hiring. Yeah. So, a little bit about Climb. Climb is a group of passionate feminists who have always believed in driving tangible change. We intend to ensure that women, who are mostly a minority in engineering colleges in India, have a safe space and a strong community to back them. And we wish to channelize our resources and position to help women from all backgrounds flourish in their careers. And this event is just one such initiative. I, Namrata Jha, the Director of Programs and Initiatives at Climb DTU, will be hosting today's session. So, welcome everyone. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce Ruchika. Ruchika is a university recruiter for Microsoft and has been involved in the recruiting space for over 9 years with experience at companies like Microsoft, Deloitte, and Novartis under her belt. Not only does she love engaging with university hires and hire the best talent for Microsoft, but also enjoys multitasking, as is testified by her role as an intern program manager, where she manages internships for over 1,000 interns, spanning across roles in software engineering, customer support, and global sales and marketing across India. Not only this, she has recently discovered a passion for blogging aimed at helping students and job seekers land their dream job. We think that your venture to share your knowledge to help others is a great initiative, and kudos to you for that. Thank you so much, Ruchika, for agreeing to be a part of Climb DTO's event, Get That Job. And we are immensely honored to have you here with us.
Thank you, Namrata.
So, yeah. So before diving into the event, I'd like to go over the event structure for our audience once. First, Ruchika will be reviewing 4 to 5 resumes, which we have chosen from around 100 registrations that we received. We tried to strike a balance between the resumes so that we included various years of graduations and were able to give our audience an insight into what to do as well as what not to do while crafting their resumes. After the live resume review, Ruchika will be sharing some tips and tricks for the upcoming on campus placement season in July 2021. And then we can take a couple of questions towards the end if we have some time left. Sounds good?
I'm good.
Okay. So let's begin with our first resume for today. Let me just share my screen. Let me know, Ruchika, if the font is visible to you.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, okay. So over to you, Ruchika.
Okay. All right, Monil. Firstly, I apologize since your personal details I heard in case you get stalked. Sincere apologies for that. All right, let's get into the resume. What I'll quickly do is I'll quickly call out the things that, from your format perspective, that needs tweaking, and then I can get into the other aspect of what actually goes into or what he's actually written into the experience and other, achievements and other headings. So to start off with, I think this is a typical example of what I covered in my previous videos around what a vertical resume is. Basically, you divide the resume in the middle, you write stuff on the left, and you write stuff on the right. What it does is, it makes it look very cluttered. There's too much happening on the resume, and so if a recruiter has to look at it or glance through it in under 7 seconds, there's very little information that they can grasp. So you want to make sure that you don't follow a format like this. I have done a couple of resume reviews, and you can check those formats out. Generally, the format of anyone who is first, or who's kind of undergraduate or is about to graduate, and they've not really got their first jobs, the first first thing that comes up top is the education. So in this case, it will just be their, their graduation, their BTech details, along with their CGPA. You do not need to mention your, 10th and 12th marks because they don't matter. Following with about, after the education part, then it comes is your internship experience. I'm assuming that this person is yet to graduate, so just make sure that you call out, that it's internship experience. Okay, so I'll get into the internship experience as well. Says that he was a summer analyst, worked on back end of an enterprise application, made endpoints, created downloads a task for triggering workflows and sending emails, designed a data model for optimally storing and retrieving historical data, also wrote SQL for the same, increased efficiency by automating the process. Okay, so what I'm guessing is while he has covered what he has done, at this organization, I think the other part is that he needs to add some examples of his work. So one would be, since he's mentioned, he's increased efficiency, then do mention what is the percentage of, increase that you have seen in your work. So mention that percentage, because then that will give a good example of your, 2 months or 3 months or whatever the internship was of your work here. I think you can also, and I'm sure most organizations do not let students really share their work on their resumes because there is a NDA that they sign. But if there is a chance that you can probably share of some of that work, then go ahead and maybe hyperlink that part. But I'm assuming Microsoft also has an NDA that all interns have to sign, so there might be a problem there. But you can definitely give examples of in terms of percentages and numbers and volumes. Coming to the next one, IIT Delhi Aerogram, okay, React developer intern, developed a cross-platform app using React Native, which monitors the pollution levels, okay, retrieve data using APIs and render run, okay, fetched past 24 hours news related to pollution, okay. I like that this person has done a variety of internships. I've just gone through the second one, and I'm assuming that's a project that he took up. I like the fact that he's taken, like I said, there is a variety in terms of the work that he's picking up, so that catches my attention. Um, Again, I'm not sure where this internship comes from, and I'm assuming that it's not related to an organization or anything of that sort. So I don't know if you really signed an NDA here with IIT Delhi, but if you've not, maybe link your work, hyperlink that into the resume, so that will give an example to the person who's reading it on what exactly you've done here. But I think overall, I think it's the way you've covered your experiences is good. The next one, software developer intern. Okay, so this is an ongoing internship. Accomplished an increase of 15% branch coverage of some connector, automated the error catching process and cloud functions, connected to reduce the instances in developer. Again, here he can mention what was the reduction that happened. There might be a percentage that he has been able to, catch through his work. So make sure that you kind of put that there. Okay, I'll quickly walk through the achievements because it's right there. Also, achievements is something that goes right after your internship experience. So there is a rule that you have to go by, which is the 3x3 rule, which means the last 3 years of your career and the top three ranks of your life, right? So top three need not be first, second, and third. It can be anything. Say for example, if you have to stack rank your achievements, and what are the three things that you really think should be on your resume, so you put that there. So coming to the achievements, Google Kickstart 2020 certificate link, round A world rank, okay. I think here as well, maybe if he can, select one or two, that should be sorted. He doesn't have to mention all the times that he has participated or whatever the different rounds were. Just pick maybe two. I think the top two should be fine. You don't have to get into too much details. India rank 75, world rank 885. I think this is good. Code forces, profile link. Okay, rank 260 out of. Okay, I think in terms of achievements, it's good. He has covered, and it definitely kind of calls out, his achievements pretty clearly. So that's great. Academic projects, sentiment analysis from audio built under Professor D.K. Vishwakarma, a research project based on emotion detection for audios. Okay, I think here, if you can talk more about your work and less about, the person that you associated with. I think you're while I know that you want to probably, showcase that you worked with, I'm assuming this person is, I'm guessing, might be a PhD or someone. But I think what you need to kind of call out more is your actual work, the core work that you've done. So focus more on that piece. I know that he's kind of called that out, compared the performance of models, all of that, but maybe a little more detailed into that first part. I think that should be something that I would want to kind of call out. Launched a platform to schedule mock interviews, implemented the web app using vanilla JS. Okay, I'm not sure if this is this hyperlinked. I would want to kind of maybe check this app. In the interest of time, that's fine. We can move forward, but yeah, like I like this part that he's given numbers, he's given us examples of what exactly does this app do, or what the impact of it was. So that's good. A person has covered that. Dynamic traffic lights, constructed a real-time automated traffic light system which changed the traffic signals according to the number of cars on the road. Detected cars using deep learning model. Okay, devised an algorithm to optimize the. Okay, I think here also, like I said, the number game kind of comes into picture. And the idea here is, while I think like a lot of people, do a lot of stuff and they're able to explain their work, I think, but it's important that you also explain your impact, because that will really highlight, your resume very well to the recruiter or even the hiring manager. Say your hiring manager is a software engineer, and they are probably looking at your resume. Startups, for example, don't really have recruiters or separate teams. They probably have software engineers or whatever managers sourcing profiles at times. I'm just giving you an example, and if they were to kind of see the impact of your work, I think that would create a different impression altogether. um, Position of responsibility. Okay, secretary and corporate head, society for IT engineers, responsible for handling operations of the society, organized programming, mentor 1,000 plus juniors to develop diverse skill set. Okay, initiated coding contests, hosted various workshops, seminars. Okay, so I think on the part of the position of responsibility, and a lot of, again, students tend to do this. They use different verbiage. They call it leadership roles, or something on those lines, and probably they want to kind of show that they are they're mature. I mean, they are ready for maybe the corporate life, or for a senior position or whatever. But I think if you were to read what's under that, I think that kind of gives it away. While I know that you want to maybe make your resume sound very rounded, well rounded, and like you're basically doing a lot of things, but I would suggest maybe focus on one, which would be your technical side. So for example, I even love the mentor and instructor around, where this person has mentored 1,000 plus juniors. And I'm not sure how this mentorship has happened. I'm not, if there is any, if supposing, for example, if this person is writing blogs, and that's how he's mentoring, then I would advise that you hyperlink those. But I think just stick to, move away from the operational side of things, like for example, handling or organizing. That's something that doesn't really add to your resume. What adds to it, especially if you're, say, applying for a software engineer role, is hardcore software engineering work that you have done. So focus more on that and less on these things. Because then it's like, okay, this person, while this person is mentoring, but this is the line, this is the field that he is focused on, and he wants to pursue that. So my, I think, two bits would be on that. Coming to the extracurricular activities, since it's there, you don't need to mention extracurricular activities. That's fine. You can talk about it in your interview. But if you were to save space and you're running out of space, you can just completely remove that. I think skills, again, something that I like, the way that he's really detailed that those out. So that's really good. But other than that, I think it's a sound resume, except for the formatting and a couple of things that I've called out. It's good.
Okay, that sounds nice. So let's move on to the second resume. Okay. So this person is blocked or his or her details outside his needs.
Okay. This is another example of vertical resume. I don't know where students get this from. And okay, so you don't have to mention. So if I go the first line that says enthusiastic, focused, goal oriented, you don't have to write all of that. It's understood that you are all of that. So generally that's a summary that fits in in someone who has experience. It does not come with someone who's a fresher, so you completely just omit summary. That's fine. And I've covered it somewhere. In fact, I did one of the videos where I called out my own summary that I had created 4 5 years back. Summary is basically, it gives the person who's reading it an example of your work, as in your professional experience, and where you see yourself. So that's what a summary comprises. If you're a fresher, just remove that. Email, contact, okay. He can actually utilize that space to put in all of his LinkedIn, GitHub links, because I see there is a lot of space that is getting wasted. So just use that there. I'll quickly call out the things that are wrong, and then I'll get into the other the content of the resume. Move away from the vertical. Don't do that division and then write stuff left and right. Do not have to mention your 10th and 12th. Just remove them completely. If you can just scroll down. Okay, so yeah, so he's mentioned those links here, but he can again utilize the space on top where his name comes, and probably I see a lot of students doing that very effectively. So make sure that you do that. Um, okay, okay, we can go up. I'll get into the. And I think another quick feedback would be, I think the font. Even the previous resume, there was a lot happening on the font side. It looks very harsh. Like if I just quickly randomly, like if I go through it, glance through it, there's it's very harsh. It's just popping. One of the fonts that a lot of people use, and it's a very famous one, is Calibri. You can try using that. It's a very soft font. It's very it's neat. It looks different, and I think people should move away from Times New Roman. I think it's pretty old. Probably when I started looking for a job, I used to use that that font. So I think change the font side of it. Okay, so experience. Again, you need to mention intern experience, internity, foundation, machine learning intern. Okay, another thing is, like, this person has called out what kind of an intern they are. Make sure that you call that out as well. Right? If it is a internship that you've done, is, I think the previous person had done as well. I think something around analyst or something. So just make sure that you call that out. It's easier for someone to screen through quickly. Okay, so created a food delivering chatbot using Flask. NLP and random forest were implemented using Python, implemented all basic. Okay, so when I read this, it sounds like this was, it was like a task list that we create, right? Okay, did this, created, check. Okay, and then what did I do? Okay, check, implemented, check. So make it more like like a dialogue. I don't say that, you write paragraphs, but make it a little more interesting. Don't do 1 2 3, because then what's the fun? Like, at least give them something to read about. So I think that would be my 2 bits. I know that he's hyperlinked. Again, you can save space there. Just maybe you can hyperlink that. Yeah, what Namrata has highlighted, just learn to save space. You don't have to use so much of space in explaining where the link is. So that would be my advice here. Sparks Foundation predict marks of students implementing data set using linear progression using Python. Again, I think I need to know more about your work. I think 3 or 4 words are not enough to describe what you have done there. So a little more descriptive about, what exactly did you do in that. Sorry, I was getting distracted by the comments. Um, Okay, projects, image captioning. It is real-time application which saves time, which takes image as input from user and then generates caption from it. Okay, this is cool. I don't know if it's been done before, but it sounds cool. Using Python, is okay. So he has linked it. Okay. Again, I think So it's very important, guys. I think one thing that you need to keep in mind when you talk about your experience, when you're talking about your internship, don't do a shoddy job at talking. I mean, putting down your work experience in your resume. If you do a shoddy job, then the person who's reading it will not take interest and will not even bother, you know, reading more of it. Like if I read now, what I'm getting is okay, he did that. Next what? Like, so that's the impression I'm getting because probably the person has not explained it the way they should have. So just make sure that you're a little more expressive when you write your resumes because you're trying to make an impression on someone who's going to read it for 7 seconds. So you have to, have that attention of theirs for a little around, a little more than 7 seconds. So I think I'll go to the face detection. It is a real-time application which saves the image of the person by clicking multiple times. Okay, run it. Okay. Okay, so again, face detection. What I'm. This is coming from someone who's a non-techie. Again, I think this technology already exists. Probably what you want to focus on is what is different in this, right? I think talk more about that and explain more on that because even a layman like me, if I'm like, okay, so what's new, can say that I don't know what how a hiring manager would kind of review your resume. Their take probably could be more different. So just make sure that if you're doing projects which have already been done, or there are or technologies that are already existing, make sure that you clearly call out the bifurcation and call out what extra have you done, or why is your work so different than what already exists. Okay. Survival prediction. Titanic. Oh my. Okay. It predicts the survival rate of Titanic data set. Okay. I don't know what this is, Nabrata. Would you want to maybe explain this to me? Because it's just that I think you're on mute.
Yeah, so I don't think Titanic data set is any benchmark data set, but I think it is. It must have something to do with like ships, and maybe would have some attributes about the ship, and then predict if that particular ship would drown or not in a situation like Titanic. I think
Okay.
that is something
I
what
Yeah,
this
I think
is
what caught me
doing.
was Titanic because again I'm a non-techie, but the way
Yeah.
you've explained is not doing justice to the work. So put a little more heart and soul into when you write stuff like this. If you can just scroll up, I'll just quickly go through the accomplishments. Technical coordinator, held workshops on web. Okay, wrote blogs on various machine learning and got published. Okay, got through. Okay, so I think again, accomplishments. The first one that says technical coordinator, held workshops. Now, what do you mean by held workshops? Were you the one who was, running the workshop? Were you the one who was mentoring that, the set of people, or you were just coordinating? So maybe use, better words while explaining your accomplishments. That would be my number one. Even writing blogs, I'm assuming that is hyperlinked, but if it is not, make sure that you hyperlink your blogs. Yeah, so again, you have to give examples of your work through your resume. So I think that's it on from me on this resume. Namrata, do you want to maybe go through the comments, or do you want to keep that for the last?
Okay, so I think we got one question here saying that when you have worked for more than five companies in a span of 15 years, let's say, is it necessary? So, okay, so if a person works for 15 years, is it necessary to describe all the roles and responsibilities, or maybe how to tailor that? I don't think it's very relevant to university recruitment, but let me know if you want to take that up.
Yeah, I'll just be quick. I think so the thumb rule is that so the kind of role that you're, say, for example, I'm a recruiter. What I do will not change, right? I will source profiles. I will screen candidates. I will, interview them. I will create a pipeline. So that will happen till the time that my role significantly changes, from, for example, from an IC to a manager. And then my role expands. Similarly, as you grow, you will realize that you're doing the same set of things again and again. So maybe focus on the growth parameter. You can, explain, but don't get too much into detail. Again, someone with 15 years of experience can very well write maybe 2 or 3 pages of resume because they've earned it. But anything less than 10 years, and that's the thumb rule, is you should stick to, say, 1 page. But that's how you showcase. You don't have to explain. And I know people write, they've kind of dedicated half a page to each of their companies that they've been associated, and that's too much because at the end of the day, you're a software engineer. You will do what you've been doing, maybe a little in a broader aspect, the kind of projects, the kind of products that you're aligned to. You'll have a bigger set of team that you will function. Maybe your role has significantly changed. You've moved to maybe a PM role. So when all of those changes happen, then you can create those nuances in your resume. Otherwise, you don't have to get too much into detail. That's not the idea. I mean, all of that you can anyways explain when you get into the interview.
Okay, and we had another question. What is the best font? So I think Ruchika has already specified that you can use Calibri, don't use Times New Roman. And Ashish, I think, has clarified that the Titanic data set has details about passengers, not ships.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
okay. And Keshav has asked, should experience be changed to intern experience? I'm
Yes,
not sure.
yes, you
Okay,
have
yeah,
to
he
change.
would. Okay.
Internship experience or whatever, intern, whatever. But yeah, make sure that you call that out clearly.
Okay. So this was a resume for a 23 grad. That is, this person will be sitting for their internship placements. So
Yeah.
let's move on to our next resume. Um, so
This is my
Yash, yeah.
this is my favorite type of resume because it's not vertical. Okay, Yash. I don't know what that website link is, so you may want to kind of specify, what exactly, because it sounds really a little, weird. So maybe just specify
That's
because.
a Yeah, that's a portfolio website. I just opened and
Okay,
checked.
so just mention
Yeah.
that it's portfolio, so there's no confusion. Remove your 10th and 12th, it's just taking space. Great CGPA. Okay, projects. Indo Navigation System Smart India Hackathon. Okay, created an Android application for navigation of customers in a large retail store to the desired product using Android Studio. Okay, so this is a resume of someone who will graduate next year, correct?
Yes, they will be sitting for FTA placements in July. Yeah.
So that means technically they have not yet done an internship. They will do an internship
Yes,
in
they
this.
will do an internship this summer. Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the first thing that kind of got me worried was why hasn't he mentioned a summer internship? But it's fine. And obviously you've not yet done it. You will do it, so that's okay. Um, okay, handwritten text recognition, a deep Python using. Okay, this is nice. The second one is kind of catching my attention because it's something to do with handwritten Hindi text recognition, which is cool. Not sure if it has been done before, but if it has been, then maybe just call that out. Why is this different, or how is this different, and all of that. So maybe just want to. Okay, okay, tic tac toe. An unbeatable multi-agent game with an interactive. I'm not sure if he's linked it, but if he has linked it, can we go and quickly check that out?
Yes, I can show that. Just a minute.
I think we are still on the, yeah. Oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, this is good. Maybe we can go back.
Yes.
Okay. Team 6 developed tic-tac-toe. Okay, using. I think here also talk about if you have or you have users who are using this at the moment, again, like I said, the impact part of it very important. Even if it is just family and friends who are using it, maybe just call out. Like for example, I did a resume review a couple of days back of someone who had developed some app for fishermen, and I think about 60 fishermen used it for something. I'm not able to recall what, but even that number was like, wow, okay, that's nice, um, so yeah, I think that would be my only two bits on this. Autonomous vehicle monitoring, smart India hackathon. Okay, team of six build a mobile app and website for security and parking management system. Use Firebase database and ML algorithms for number plate detection, vehicle tracking and image processing. Okay, I think it's fine. Most of it is projects, so I think the way he has covered it is fairly okay. I don't want to give any advice there. I think once his internship actually comes, maybe that is something that I would want to focus on. But it's a sound resume overall. It's a good resume. Yeah. I'm just quickly going through. Not sure if you have hyperlinked the in-campus example, but if you have not, maybe just add that there. Okay, now this is another one, position of responsibility. Guys, don't worry. We know that you guys are very responsible. You don't have to call it out, position of responsibility or leadership position. That's fine. Co-founder and associate of Code to School. Code to School, an educational initiative to create coding culture in schools or mentoring students across Delhi. Again, number. I don't know how many students participated, so that will be a good example. General coordinator and treasurer, student council. Okay. Um, okay, I think my two bits on this would be, I think this person is yet to experience the other side, as in I know that, BTech may, the first 2 years are, you're basically, new, fairly new, you're trying to find your way. And then the next 2 years is where you flex all your muscle and you get a little active. But maybe again, here as well, focus more on the technical aspects of it and move away from, coordinated, all of that. I know that this sounds good, but again, how would this help you get a, say, a software engineering internship in Microsoft? So focus on that aspect of it, I would say. So supposing if you did mentorship, or if you're running a club, or if you're for example, say even climb, this is a club that Nabrata has come up with. So those are more essential when you talk about your whatever position of responsibility or whatever you want to call it. Member of international organizations, or no, was a member of, okay, was a member of leaders. Okay. Okay, so was I happened, don't go in the past, focus on the now. I think that would kind of, so even the way that you've written is not really looking nice. You're talking about something that happened. Talk more about what you're planning to do or what you're associated with now. Again, the three rule applies here as well. Technical skills are fine. um, yeah. Awards, participate in Smart India Hackathon. I'm not sure. I'm assuming that there is a rank to that. So if there is, probably mention what rank you got. State rank, okay, international rank in international Olympiad. I don't know when this Olympiad of Science happened. I'm assuming in school, but if it did, then please remove it. 4-star coder or code chef. Okay, this is fine. I think the rating part is something that is bothering me. And while a 4-star coder is pretty good, but I don't know how the rating part works. I'm assuming that's not the ranking, but um, okay, gold medal, first position in arena. So, okay, volleyball. Okay, that's nice. I like the fact that he's called out something other than studies, that he's considered an achievement. So that's good. 6-star gold badge in okay, global rank. Again, maybe you want to call out how many people participated, so that would take away the 1,000 में job का rank आया है. But again, I think reduce the achievements to the top 3 only. Like I said, you can remove things that are not relevant or something that you feel, stack rank them and just remove them. Namrata, I was just thinking, do you want to maybe get into the other part, because it's already 36.
Yes. So I think we can stop at this resume for our like resume review. Um, Yeah, so I would like to call out one thing. You said that I came up with climb. I This climb was actually started by four of our seniors, like just 1 year senior it was. We are just co-running it as final year students, me and three other directors. So that was something that I wanted to call out. So now that we have reviewed all the resumes that we have, and I think we were able to cover a lot of ground while reviewing these resumes, and we really hope that everyone found some takeaway or the other from this session. So moving on to the much awaited part of today's event, tips and tricks for the upcoming placement session. So over to you again, Ruchika.
Okay. So before I start, there is no magic potion. I'm not gonna tell you something like, oh, it's nothing out of the usual. I think I'm just going to state some facts. And again, disclaimer: please don't kind of quote me anywhere saying that Ruchika told us this and we followed and we didn't get placed. And then don't bash me online because a lot of negativity already I think exists, and I so don't want to. I'm very scared of that. So I think what where I'm coming from is obviously the fact that I've been, in this cycle of campus placements and hiring students for about 9 years now. So it comes with experience because I've seen every cycle. I've seen what placements look like, what goes into it, how crazy it is, and I think more than that, I've also seen and I've read some of the stories that students typically share on social media. People, students who have recently come through the campus placement pipeline, who have been through that rigmarole. So I've read their stories and I've kind of come to the, you can call it a bit of a research that I've done, and this is what my findings are. So to start off with, I think the first thing that is very, very important that you should keep in mind is stop treating placements like a lottery. It is not that. I honestly have done that. When I got placed, I was like, okay, let's just go with any company. Acha, kahin bhi lag jaye job, it's fine. But those days were different. Now students are more aware of what's happening. They know what they want. They know what kind of roles they want. They know what kind of organizations they want to be with. So it's pretty inspiring for me to see, to see this young generation and the generation that is coming up now have that clarity. So which is great. So firstly, stop treating it like a lottery system. That's something that you should move away from. The way you have prepared yourself, there are a bunch of engineering exams I'm sure you've given to get into your choice of college. The way you are prepared for that, why won't you prepare the same way when it comes to placements, right? um, and by what I mean by preparation is not just work in silos, work independently. I think what I believe is divide and conquer, and you need to come up with, say, a group of 4 or 5 people you are closely associated with, your close knit group. It could be your roommates, it could be your close friends, buddies, whatever. And make sure that these people are like minded, just like you. So for example, I am a very detailed oriented, like I like to create schedules, I like to create agendas, I like to work on Excel, and I stick to those. I get very upset when things don't happen as per my schedule and agendas. And if so, I were to pair up with someone who is fairly relaxed, doesn't like agenda, is not as rigid as me, then it would be a problem, because my placements are kind of banking on teamwork, and if teamwork does not happen, then it will be a problem. um, work in these groups of 3 or 4. And the third would be find out from your college. It could be your placement cell. Go to your placement cell, find out the kind of companies that visited last year, right? You can get that information. I'm sure a lot of you have a website, placement cells, go and post that information there, whatever. Go and get all of that information. And by what I mean by that is the kind of companies that visit, the basically the industries that come to your campus, the kind of roles that they come for. Okay, so these are the 2 or 3 things that you need to bifurcate these companies in. Then figure out what are your dream companies that you absolutely feel are, are a must. So it could be Microsoft, whatever, whatever. Okay, 3 4 companies, just figure out what these are your dream companies. And then the second slot should be, your average companies that chalo theek hai, dream companies mein nahi hua to we will be happy with the average companies. And then there should be a backup companies. Okay, I hope everybody is with me so far. um, if you're not, you can probably put it on the comment section. I'll try and re-clarify that. Then then the next part is the more fun part, because now you have to do the research. Okay, now every company will have, their set of interviews, their set of online online tests or whatever, certain screening criteria. Figure that out, what that is. And the best people to figure this out is your seniors. Whoever have just gotten placed or have, recently graduated or whatever. Find out from them what exactly is the screening criteria. Say for example, Microsoft has 2 or 3 different roles that we hire from, right? Now each of those roles have different screenings. There is a role which is software engineering. Obviously you have to do coding because it is a software engineering role, so there would be a coding round in it. There is another role which is a customer support engineering, wherein while there is a certain technicality that you need, you also need to be you need to have a flair in written and spoken English. So there is a separate test which covers your technical as well as your written and spoken English, right? Similarly, there is a third set. So aise karke there'll be a lot of companies that will have their own, set of things, set of questions, set of interviews, set of screening that they do. Find out what those are. Okay, and then and give yourselves, maybe, divide, like say, okay, say for example, Namrata, you take, all the tech companies. Find out what are the what are the companies that have, say, give her the list of say 3 or 4 companies. Tell her by the end of this month you come back and tell us what are the different rounds, what is the screening criteria, and you come back to us with all of this information. Then similarly give the same set of, different companies to different to a different person. Give them that 1 month. Tell them, hey, is 1 month mein figure out all of this information, let's regroup and start preparing. Okay, now so you have basically, what you've done is, rather than you breaking your head and finding out for all of these companies and, figuring out that, it's you're breaking that work into different, because I know obviously, everybody's got their plates full. You have exams and you have ton of other things that you need to. So this is the best way. Okay, so by the time that placements hit, which is July, you are pretty much sorted on what goes into it. Okay, then figure out, okay, what are the roles that are absolutely necessary. I'm assuming most, whatever, I'm just guessing now. Most of you probably would want a software engineering role. Okay, then start preparing together. Once you have finalized, once you found out what the, different screening rounds are, what goes into it. Say again, take an example of Microsoft, say coding. So the ability to write clean code is something that is the deciding factor. Then start preparing together. Okay, so the idea is that, you have to be very focused in what you want, and then kind of, tackle these different scenarios and prepare for it. Don't just go blindsided ki "Acha, dekhenge, what happens, what we'll see what happens," right? The other aspect of it is, and this is very important, is learn to have thick skin. When I say thick skin, I mean that rejections should not affect you. And this is typically prevalent in, colleges where companies come almost together. Like, it's like they're bombarded with companies. Say on, say 2 or 3 days, may there are about 10 15 companies that are lined up, or whatever. In a week there are so many companies lined up. Right now companies are also vouching, or, they want the best of talent, so obviously they will try, to come on campus as soon as possible and pick up the best or whatever it is, right? Now how you what you do that in that sense is, be mentally prepared that you have to face, say about 5 or 6 companies at a stretch. And it happens, again, giving an example of IITs, it typically happens in these colleges that, there are multiple companies and students are running helter skelter from one interview to the other. At times, you can actually see it on their face. So because, say for example, someone XYZ person has given one round of interview, with Microsoft, and then the next round is with Ruchika Rocque, Hi, I hope I'm audible. I just got um
Yeah, you're audible now. You got stuck in between.
okay. I think the network.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. You can
Okay.
continue.
So yeah. So just where was I? I lost myself. Sorry. Give me a
People are running. People are running
Yeah,
from
so
here to
it's
there.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So and in that it can happen that say you reach the last round of Uber and you get rejected, but you still have 2 or 3 rounds of Microsoft. Don't let that rejection affect you so that you screw up even the opportunity that you have in hand at the moment. So my advice would be be thick skinned when you're going to sit mentally and emotionally and physically also if you have to prepare yourself because it's going to be a long haul, right? Don't let the entire process overwhelm you, because again this is actually something that comes across quite often, especially when we are on campus hiring. Hiring managers come to me and say, this candidate is good but very less I mean energy. I think the energy factor is missing, and obviously we understand that the person has probably been through 3 rounds, 3 sleepless nights, and not had any food and is running around trying to make sure that he gets that internship opportunity or whatever. So it is crazy, we know that, but try not to show that to the hiring manager. Whatever it takes, just hang in there, be prepared, and just make sure that you finish the task of getting that job. Okay. The other reason very important is, and I'll be quick about this, is make sure that you prepare for placements at that point in time, even if it means, and please don't again quote me, even if it means that you have to probably not do your 100% in your exams. Make sure that you focus on the placements piece, because exams will happen. Don't worry, if you're a 9 pointer from 9, maybe your CGPA will come down to 8.8 or 8.5. Even then it will not make too much of a difference. Okay. So placement is something that you will have to focus, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? So make sure that you're able to multitask both your studies and your placement preparation, and take it seriously. And the last thing is, don't worry, even if you think that it's not happened, or you've not gotten placed, or whatever, maybe your dream company did not happen. Make sure that it's fine. Take a breath. There are off campus opportunities that happen. A lot of companies are doing it quite recently in the last 1 or 2 years that I've seen. A lot of influencers, social media influencers, are sharing information on YouTube. They're creating YouTube content where they cover off campus opportunities. I've been seeing quite a bit now. And typically off campus opportunities happen post December, because that's when the entire cycle kind of wraps up, and if in case there are any additional hiring that happens, it happens post December. So keep a keen lookout on LinkedIn. Be associated with employees, your alums probably, who are associated with organizations, your seniors if they're working in any organizations. Be in touch with them, constantly keep checking with them if there are any referral drives happening, or there is any kind of information that they can pass along. You can be, so just be active is what I would say. So that's my 2 bits on the placements. I hope it made sense to people.
Yeah, I think it was, pretty much what I would have wanted to hear 2 years back. So I think, shall we take some questions which are here
Sure.
in the comments? Yeah. So, okay, so Khushi Singh has asked that, we usually add extra achievements like PORs to cover, PORs are positions of responsibility, to cover space on our resume so that, it doesn't look empty. Probably, for somebody who's in their second year or going to third. So, is it okay if your resume is short and crisp or, has some empty spaces?
So, see, the idea is that don't fake it, but at the same time, don't make it look completely empty. Like, the only thing that is mentioned is and I have got resumes where the only thing there was a paragraph long summary. This was a fresher, as in I think yet to graduate. There was a paragraph long summary there was graduation and 10th and 12th details, and I think their personal details. That's it. Nothing else was on it. So don't make it. I mean, like I said, I called it out in the previous resume that okay, this person has not yet done the internship, so it's fine. He's talked about the other experiences that he's had, the other projects that he has had, so it's okay. But keep a balance. I would say don't first don't fake it, and even if you have to make it like put relevant information. Don't see again. At the end of the day, you are trying to get a job in a software as a software engineer in a tech firm, right? So what is the information that you put in there is very important. Would your expertise in organizing anything matter? No, I don't think so. Your hardcore technicalities of your learning, your knowledge, etc. would matter, so focus on that part more.
Yes, I think that should answer Khushi's question. Keshav had asked if you could quickly revisit the ideal order of of a resume. So, say, I guess,
Okay.
education, experience, etc. Yeah.
So the first, so for freshers, it would be education with your graduation details and your CGPA. Make sure that you put your CGPA in your resume. It's important. If you do not if you do not have experience, then your CGPA most definitely goes in your resume. If you have experience, then you can remove your CGPA and your education details comes last. Then comes your internship experience. So make sure that you cover all of your internship experience with the dates, chronological reverse order, that is latest, and then you make your way back. Okay. Then you have okay, internship. Okay, so then you have your projects. If you've done any additional projects in your college, then you probably call that out. Again, I know students do a ton of projects, and there is very limited space in your resume. So make sure that you give first preference to your internship experience. Make sure that you do complete justice to that, and then go into your projects. And projects also, if you have limited space, just stick to three, the top three projects that you have done, and that's it. And if you have to, if you are very confused what do I put into it, just stack rank them, and maybe ask advice from someone seasoned. Ask them, okay, what do you think, preferably a software engineer or someone on those lines who can actually guide you on what would make a difference into that in your resume. So just put, or just limit yourself to those top three projects. And then comes your skills, which are your skill set or whatever that you want to put. And then last is your achievements. Achievements also 3 by 3 rule. And yeah, you should be good.
Okay. So, one more question that we have is what CGPA is considered good? Sushant has asked this.
Oh my god, this is a very difficult question, Sushant. Okay, where do I start now? So I think CGPA, see, I'll be honest, CGPA is generally companies have a cutoff of about 7. So 7 CGPA, I would say, and this is coming from someone who's been in the system for that long and knows. But again, don't fuss too much about CGPA. It's more about the work that you've done, and please don't quote me anywhere for God's sake. But it's also more about the internship. So for example, someone asked me, sorry, did I go on hold? Am I there?
No, no. Yeah, you're audible. You're there.
Okay. So somebody asked me, I did a recent resume review for this person, and she had a CGPA of 9.3 something, and okay internship experience. I won't say that was really good, but okay. She asked me, she's like, ma'am, do people who have higher CGPA like mine get more preference than people who have lower? I said, no, nothing like that. Everybody is in the same boat. Yes, it definitely matters the kind of internship or the kind of work that you've done, even the kind of projects that you've done really matter, because that is something that will be called out more and more as you interview, right? Even the hiring manager will, okay, he will just ask you once, acha, how much is your CGPA? May focus on the CS fundamentals or whatever. He might cross question on your knowledge on that part, but then the focus shifts to, acha, what did you do in your internship? Can you tell me this? Then they'll start cross questioning. Then that is what would be the make and break situation. So while CGPA is important, it is not the only important factor in making a hiring decision. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. We have one more question from Lakshita. I think this is the last question that we'll take. Is it compulsory to make a one-page resume? Because when I am making my resume, I try to write everything, and it is difficult to put everything on one page. So
Uh,
Lakshita asks this.
you, yeah. So Lakshita, you have to be mean to yourself, and you have to make sure that this is one page because I have 9 years of experience, and now I will kind of progress into the second page. That's with 9 years of experience. So yes, you have to stick to one page because see, how much can you write? Like I said, you want to create an impression in 7 seconds because you just have 7 seconds for a recruiter, and this is a fact. I'll just call it out. I generally call it out again and again. It is a fact. A recruiter will only look at your resume for 7 seconds. Now, in that 7 seconds, do you want to highlight everything that you have done, probably the average work that also you have done, or you want to highlight the top notch hardcore coding or software engineering work that you have done? So it's the decision is yours. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's all the questions we have related to university hiring. With this, we've come to the end of today's session, Get That Job. I'd like to thank Ruchika on behalf of Team Climb for sparing her valuable time to be here with us today. I'm pretty sure that our audience has learned a lot about tailoring their resumes and preparing for their interviews from this session, and will go get that job when time comes. So we'd also like to inform you that, as a gesture of gratitude and zeal for being able to share the knowledge that Ruchika has acquired over the years as a recruiter to help others, she has started her own YouTube channel where you can find more such content about resumes and placement preparation, etc. So, having watched all the three videos that are up on the channel as of now, and some other collaborations as well, I would highly recommend all of you to go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, and stay tuned for more videos giving you an insight into the
Namrata, if I
recruiter's process.
may
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
just add, I think there is someone who's got a very interesting question, and he's kind of, he or she is not very happy that we've not answered. Will a college startup, sorry, I'm just reading it out because I don't want to upset this person. With a college startup, small in brackets, help me in getting selected in universities like Stanford and all for masters? Um, yeah, so it depends on again the kind of work that you've done in the startup. It doesn't matter, if it is a startup or a big organization, the kind of work matters. And in startup, in fact, you can actually go above and beyond and really do much more than because it's a small startup, right? It's a small organization. They might not have those bifurcations between different teams. So there is even more leverage for you to, really expand and do more in the 2 months that you have been there. So make sure that you utilize that startup experience, and also it depends on, I don't know what the selection criterias are for for colleges like Stanford and all of that. I'm sure there might be a certain screening. There is probably an essay that you need to submit and all of that. So whatever you do, you just need to make sure that you're able to give complete justification to that role, and just ask, will a Stanford want to kind of get me in their college or no? So I think that should kind of answer your question.
Yeah, I had actually not taken that up since it wasn't about university hiring and was about masters. But thanks, Ruchika, for addressing the alien kids
Sure.
question as well. So I think with that we come to the end of our session. We'd like to thank our audience for staying connected with us till the very end, and we hope to see you guys at our future events as well. So thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Ruchika, and thank you everyone.
Bye.
Okay, bye bye.